Hi, so this is Paul from globaltradingsoftware.com, and I wanted to give brokers a sneak preview of the xBrat Range Breakout that we've now developed for MT4. We've had this 2 years on lots of other platforms, but it's been quite a complex process to get it for MT4, but it is there and it's working now. There's two other indicators on the chart here which are already available to the public. The Range Breakout is not yet, hence this video first. So we've got the bias depth heat map at the bottom. So that is a heat map that looks up 6 different time frames from the native time frame and gives you an overall bias. So it's a go, no go gauge, and we'll talk about that in a second. And then we've got the manager. So the manager colors the candles and it looks at higher than average volume, lower than average volume. It looks at accumulation distribution candles, but it also gives you a ribbon and it helps you manage the trade. So I'm going to go through some very basics here. In the video I am going to put a couple more links to other versions of the Range Breakout so you can see how the combined they work. Plus also I'm going to put the tutorial for the manager in there as well. So we're going to look at Euro, US dollar, gold and Brent. So the Range Breakout, what is it? So there are certain points in the day, as you know, that are quite volatile, and we can define those ranges. So for Euro, US dollar and gold, we're really interested in the New York gold pit open at 8:20 a.m. EST, and then the European gold pit open as well. Now we can also put those Londons and the New York opens on there, but just to make this simple there. And then with oil, we're really just looking at that oil pit open at 9 a.m. EST. It's very tradable. So the Range Breakout defines that opening range, but also gives it a bias, and the strategy is to trade out of that range. There's quite a few different strategies here, and it can be used for data reversals. There's the with trend, with bias, there's the continuation trade, and we'll talk about all of those. So I'm going to go through the gold open first from the New York yesterday. So we had I've put the vertical line in there just to show you where we get the bias down on the bias depth heat map. So the range opened and it was red. So we're only looking for the short, but we didn't get the confirmation from the bias depth heat map on that opening range. The price action went up, it failed, it came back through, the Range Breakout went from red to yellow back to red, all 6 time frames on the bias depth heat map. That's your conversion. You go short. You go short and you stay short, even on this pullback here, because the ribbon remains red until you get out at this point here. So that's the gold pit open. With the Europe here, if I just zoom in a little bit. So with Europe, we have what we call neutral. It's a neutral bias, and we actually teach a straddle trade with this. But when we look at the bias depth heat map, we need all 3 colors. We need bullish, neutral and bearish as that confirmation. So we put a straddle on, so we put a long and a short order on, a couple of pips above the high of the European range and a couple of pips below. But we're only going to trade until we look at targets of previous support on this one. So just zoom out again here. This move down here found support at that previous support, so we're only with those straddle trades, and we teach that to look at to trade to the next support. We do then come back through that range, and there's a good work off there. So that's Euro, US dollar. Gold, this is gold pit open yesterday for New York. Again, it defines the range. We're all 6 time frames in the red. It just doesn't break out. It goes up a little bit, comes back through. We've got a candle inside the range. All 6 time frames on the bias depth heat map are red. We put a couple of pips below the low of that range. We go short and we come all the way down to this point here until the ribbon turns red at this green at this point here for the long. So with Europe again, we can see we have with the European open this morning, so this again, it's indecision. We've got some resistance just up here, and we've got some support down below. There's small trades. We don't take the long going through because all 6 time frames aren't green. So there was no more trade on there. We'll wait for the New York gold pit open. So now oil. So let's just move this. So oil pit open, it only happens once a day, and it's very tradable if you get all of your ducks in a row. So oil pit open defined here yesterday, all 6 time frames are green, we're looking for the long. We go long until the ribbon turns red at this point here. So the manager actually can be changed. So at the moment we're on what we call day trading aggressive, but we can change that. So on the indicator list, when we go to the manager, we can put this on day trading conservative, for example, and we can see here it helps you ride certain pullbacks, certain fib levels, and maximize those trades. Again, it's all part of the trading to understand the behavior of the certain instrument that we get. So there's 3 examples there: oil, gold, euro, US dollar. We define the range, and then we use the logic to give you the bias for that range at that time. As you can see, it changes color all the way through. Then we use the bias depth heat map, again separate logic, but looks at 6 different time frames to give you that confirmation, and then we use the manager to manage the trade. So it's like a cradle to grave bundle, if you like. We haven't released the range breakout to the public yet. It is ready to go. We're just trying to find the right time, or maybe even the right partner with a brokerage to actually keep it just to one particular brokerage. So check out the links for more videos down below the video, and I'll also put my contact details in the description as well.